The barber pole, with its rotating red, white, and blue stripes, is more than just a decoration. During the Middle Ages, barbers served as both surgeons and dentists, performing procedures such as bloodletting, tooth extractions, and minor surgeries. Each color on the pole holds symbolic meaning. Red represents blood, white stands for bandages, and blue symbolizes veins. In 1847, concerns about safety led the medical community and the public to separate medical procedures from haircuts. As a result, barbers reverted to focusing solely on haircutting, but the traditional pole remained as a historical marker of their diverse past. While Morgan Spurlock's 30-day McDonald's experiment highlighted serious health concerns, subsequent revelations suggest the results may have been influenced by other factors. Doctors compared his liver health to that of an alcoholic, indicating significant damage. Spurlock later admitted he had been drinking heavily throughout filming and struggled with alcoholism for years, revealing a hidden variable that could have skewed the health outcomes. Attempts by other filmmakers, such as those in the documentary Fathead, to replicate his experiment failed to produce similar alarming results. Some even resulted in weight loss for participants. Despite these inconsistencies, the film had a substantial impact. It became the 7th highest-grossing documentary ever, prompted McDonald's to eliminate the supersize option, and led to a menu overhaul within weeks of its release. Moreover, it was widely used in high school health classes to warn students about the risks of fast food. Interestingly, the production company was called The Con, a nickname that hints at the film's controversial nature and the possible exaggeration of its findings. Ever feel like the years are just blurring together? You're not alone. And it's not just you getting older. Psychologists have noted a significant shift in how we perceive the passage of time, with 2000 and 2020 marked as major turning points. It's not that the world is physically moving faster, it's that our brains have stopped recording life in the way they used to. See, before the digital explosion of the early 2000s, our lives were filled with temporal anchors, distinct physical memories that helped our brains categorize time. Today, the constant stream of technology and information has created a time compression effect. As we moved into the new millennium, the rise of the internet and constant connectivity began to change our mental recording process. The global events of 2020 further disrupted our internal clocks, shifting our perception once again as our daily routines and social structures were completely overhauled. Our brains gauge time based on the number of new memories we create. When our days become a repetitive loop of scrolling through the same digital interfaces, our brains stop flagging events as unique. The result? When you look back, it feels like no time has passed at all because your brain didn't save any distinct files for those moments. We aren't losing time, we're losing the markers that tell us time is passing. The psychology behind sleeping with a blanket reveals that many individuals who can't sleep without one, even in summer, are engaging in somatic self-soothing. This behavior isn't about temperature, but about pressure and containment. It's a desire for safety rather than warmth. When someone curls up under a blanket, extends a leg to cool, or tucks their arms under a pillow like armor, their nervous system recreates the feeling of being held. The blanket becomes more than fabric. It's a boundary, a shield, and a soft weight that signals protection. Light pressure, even from a thin cover, can calm the autonomic nervous system, reducing stress hormones and mimicking the comfort of a hug. This behavior often stems from childhood environments lacking affection or safety, where creating a sense of security became a self-soothing habit. Is greatness the result of individual ambition, or does it depend on the people who believe in us? The great man theory holds that history is shaped by extraordinary individuals, while the catalyst effect suggests that potential is often unlocked by the right partner. A famous story about French President Charles de Gaulle and his wife Yvonne captures this idea. When Charles remarked that Yvonne would be the wife of a waiter if she had married her former suitor, she replied, "No, if I had married him, he would be the president of France." This exchange reveals an important truth. We often mistake the person in the spotlight for the true source of greatness, when in reality, Success is shaped by the encouragement, standards, and support of others. Many of history's most formidable figures were sculpted by the expectations and unwavering belief of their partners. True achievement is rarely a solo act, it is often a partnership. Ever wonder why the second child seems to have a permanent seat in the principal's office? It's not just a family cliché, it's a statistical reality. Economist Joseph Doyle's 2017 study found that second-born boys are 25% to 40% more likely to face serious disciplinary issues or legal trouble compared to their firstborn siblings. This isn't about bad seeds. It's about a fundamental shift in the parental ecosystem. Firstborns enter a world of undivided adult attention and hypervigilance. By the time the second arrives, that intensity has often waned. Instead of modeling their behavior solely on adults, secondborns look to their slightly older, impulsive siblings. They aren't raised in a vacuum. They're raised in a diluted environment where supervision is shared, and the rules have already been softened. As families grow, the rigid discipline once reserved for the eldest often yields to a more relaxed, hands-off approach. The result? A child who navigates a world with fewer adult anchors and more influence from a peer who is also still figuring it out. The first child is raised by adults. The second child is raised by someone who is also still learning how to be a person. Tilly Smith's story highlights how education can save lives. During a vacation in Thailand in December 2004, the 10-year-old noticed the tide receding rapidly and bubbling foam, a sign of an approaching tsunami, just 2 weeks after learning about such dangers in class. Her quick thinking and warnings to her parents and the lifeguard led to the evacuation of Mai Khao Beach, which ultimately resulted in no fatalities. Tilly's actions are credited with saving over 100 lives, and she has even had an asteroid named after her. The sun sneeze glitch. Have you ever stepped out of a dark room into bright sunlight and felt an immediate urge to sneeze? You're not catching a cold. Your brain is actually experiencing a short circuit. This phenomenon is known as the photic sneeze reflex. It occurs because your optic nerve, which manages sight, and your trigeminal nerve, which triggers sneezes, are located very close to each other. When sunlight hits your eyes, the signal becomes so intense that your brain gets confused and mistakenly thinks something is tickling inside your nose. Essentially, it's a harmless glitch in your nervous system, affecting about 1 in 4 people. So, if you're a sun sneezer, you're literally wired a little differently. Are you one of those who sneeze the moment you look at the sun? Let us know in the comments. The shapes of the play, pause, stop, fast forward, and rewind buttons are based on practical choices made in the early days of mechanical audio and video devices, long before digital screens existed. On tape recorders and film equipment, the tape or film physically moved from left to right, matching the natural reading and perceived flow of time. The play symbol, a right-pointing triangle, visually suggested forward motion, like an arrow indicating progression. Fast forward used 2 triangles, implying increased speed in the same direction, while rewind mirrored the triangle to the left, signaling backward movement. These shapes worked well because they were instantly recognizable without words and could be stamped onto physical buttons. The stop and pause symbols lean more on meaning than motion. The square for a stop represents a definitive end, similar to hitting a wall where nothing can pass. When you press stop on a mechanical device, everything halts and resets, making a solid enclosed shape psychologically fitting. Pause, a gentler version of stop, features a split square into 2 vertical bars, indicating a temporary interruption rather than a complete ending. It visually communicates, hold this moment, rather than end it. Over time, these symbols became deeply familiar, so when digital media emerged, designers kept the same shapes to prevent confusion. February 2026 is notable because it forms what many see as a perfect month, entirely fitting into exactly 4 weeks without spilling into adjacent months. This happens because 2026 is not a leap year, giving February 28 days, with February 1st landing on a Sunday. As a result, the month neatly fits into 4 full weeks, creating a flawless rectangular block of time. Such a perfect month occurs roughly once every 6 to 11 years. The last time was in 2015, and the next won't be until 2037. This rarity has led the internet to celebrate February 2026, highlighting its unique geometric consistency in the calendar. The simplicity and symmetry of this month make it a unique moment in time, pleasing to those who appreciate patterns and order in our calendar system. This is one of the biggest deceptions in military history. What do you do when 200,000 enemy troops are at your gates? During the era of the Three Kingdoms in China, around 228 AD, strategist Chu Liang found himself in a critical situation. He was defending a small town with no more than 2,500 loyal soldiers when he learned of a huge enemy force, more than 150,000 troops, led by his rival Sima Yi. With no chance of winning in a direct fight and no time to prepare defenses, escape seemed impossible. Instead of panicking, Chu Liang ordered his troops to hide, opened all the city gates, and even had some soldiers disguised as civilians sweep the streets to look calm. He then climbed to the top of the city wall, sat down to watch the approaching army, lit some incense, and quietly played his instrument. Sima Yi, the cautious commander of the enemy forces, was confused by what he saw. Aware of Chu Liang's reputation for clever tactics and musical skill, Sima Yi thought a trap might be waiting inside those open gates. Rather than risking his army falling into an unknown trap, Sima Yi made a fateful decision. He ordered his entire army to retreat, convinced that this strange display was a hoax he couldn't afford to fall for. Chu Liang defeated an overwhelming force without losing a single soldier, all through psychological warfare. In 2017, NASA announced a unique job opening for a planetary protection officer with a starting salary of $187,000 annually. While the title might evoke images of defending Earth from extraterrestrial threats, the role is primarily scientific and preventative. The main responsibilities include safeguarding our planet by preventing biological contamination from spacecraft returning from other worlds, ensuring that Earth remains pristine and safe from potential alien microbes. Additionally, the officer helps protect other planets by establishing protocols to avoid contaminating them with Earth's life during exploration missions. This position is crucial for maintaining planetary integrity and supporting responsible space exploration. Polychoria is a rare eye condition where more than one true pupil appears in the iris, the colored part of the eye that controls how much light enters. A true pupil is an opening that can constrict and dilate, and in genuine polychoria, each opening has its own muscle control. The condition can be congenital, meaning it develops before birth, or it may occur later due to disease or injury affecting the iris. When polychoria is congenital, it usually results from improper iris formation during early eye development in the womb. The tissues that normally fuse to form a single pupil fail to merge completely, leaving multiple openings. When it develops later in life, it can be caused by inflammation, trauma, surgery, or diseases that damage the iris, leading to abnormal holes that may imitate or disrupt normal pupil structure. True polychoria is extremely rare. Most cases thought to be polychoria are actually pseudopolychoria, where extra openings are present but do not function as real pupils. This Polish bracelet, estimated to be 2,700 years old, is crafted from meteorite iron. Recent reanalyses of Iron Age graves near Chistakova revealed hammered jewelry made from extraterrestrial metal. Researchers examined 26 iron artifacts from 2 local cemeteries to determine their origin. Most of these pieces contain at least 4 meteor-high nickel imprints, likely resulting from a single meteorite fall. This discovery places the site among the most significant collections of iron meteorite artifacts in one location, comparable to notable finds in Egypt. If you think your skincare routine is intense, just be glad you didn't live in 1450. Renaissance women often sandpapered their skin or rubbed it with vinegar and glass to achieve a translucent, shiny glow, making their foreheads appear even larger and more brighter. The egghead look was especially popular in the courts of Burgundy, France, and Italy. A massive, smooth forehead was seen as the ultimate status symbol because it signified a life of leisure, someone who didn't have to work outdoors in the sun, and high intelligence. Basically, they aimed for the polished marble statue look, even if it meant their foreheads were literally raw. Anything for the gram, or, well, the oil portrait. Admiral Horatio Nelson, one of Britain's most renowned naval leaders, lost sight in his right eye early in his career. During the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801, his superior ordered him to withdraw, but Nelson believed that continuing the attack was the right decision. He famously raised his telescope to his blind eye and claimed he could not see the signal, then chose to press on with the battle, which led to a major British victory. This moment is widely seen as the origin of the phrase, "turn a blind eye." Although historians debate whether Nelson said those exact words, the records agree that he intentionally ignored the order by pretending to be blind. The phrase has since become a common way to describe deliberately ignoring something, keeping alive the story of Nelson's bold defiance in everyday speech. Can't make this up. In 2020, a British zoo separated 5 parrots after they encouraged each other to shout profanity at visitors. The zoo staff said most guests were not upset by the behavior, and many actually found it funny, with people reacting positively to the unexpected outbursts. Even so, the keepers decided it was best to separate the birds to limit their exposure to children. The parrots were relocated to different areas of the wildlife park to prevent them from influencing one another. Snowflakes always have 6 sides because water molecules freeze in a specific pattern. The process begins when a dust particle in a cloud attracts water vapor, which then condenses onto it. As the vapor continues to deposit, the water molecules begin to freeze, forming a crystal. Each water molecule has a bent, V-shaped structure that encourages it to bond at specific angles. These angles naturally form a hexagonal or 6-sided pattern because of the molecular shape and bonding behavior. This hexagonal symmetry is maintained as the crystal grows, resulting in the characteristic 6 points of a snowflake. While the microscopic structure dictates this 6-sided form, factors such as temperature and humidity influence the snowflake's intricate, unique design. This natural geometric pattern is a direct consequence of the physical and chemical properties of water molecules. Despite the countless variations in detailed patterns, the fundamental 6-sided symmetry remains a universal feature of snowflakes. Photographer Rosalind Fisher explored how tears vary under a microscope in her project, The Topography of Tears. She used a microscope to capture the intricate crystal patterns formed by tears of different origins. Her findings revealed distinct differences based on their emotional or physiological triggers. Tears caused by strong emotions, such as grief or joy, exhibited unique structures that set them apart from tears produced by irritants, like chopping onions, or reflex tears that occur when the eyes flush out dust or wind. Fisher's work highlights how tears are not just a simple response, but can vary profoundly, offering visual evidence of the complex ways our bodies react to various stimuli. Through her detailed photographs, she showcased how our tears hold secrets about our emotional and physical states, emphasizing the fascinating connection between our feelings and the microscopic world. White light has been found to stimulate the production of the stress hormone cortisol, which can increase alertness and may contribute to stress. In contrast, yellow light is known for its calming properties, helping to soothe the nervous system. Exposure to yellow light can promote relaxation and mental ease, making it a preferred choice for environments where tranquility is desired. Understanding the effects of different light wavelengths is important, especially in settings such as workplaces, homes, or therapeutic spaces, where lighting choices can influence mood and stress levels. While white light's stimulating effect can be beneficial for daytime alertness, Excessive exposure may also elevate stress hormones and affect well-being. Conversely, yellow or warm-colored lighting can create a soothing atmosphere conducive to relaxation and mental clarity. The ability to manipulate lighting environments to suit specific needs underlines the significance of considering light color in our daily lives. This knowledge encourages the mindful use of lighting to balance activity and relaxation, ultimately supporting overall mental health and stress management. A recent scientific study revealed that dogs, like humans, can experience sleep difficulties after stressful events. In the experiment, researchers monitored brain activity in 16 dogs during positive moments, such as play and affection, and during negative moments, such as brief separations from their owners. The findings showed that stressed dogs had poorer sleep quality during a 3-hour nap. They spent more time in REM sleep, woke up earlier, and fell asleep faster, a pattern linked to stress-related fatigue. These results suggest that stress affects dogs' sleep patterns in a manner similar to humans, impacting their rest and recovery. To help your dog sleep better, establishing a calm bedtime routine and offering gentle affection may be beneficial, as they provide comfort and reduce stress. Recognizing the effects of stress on sleep can lead to better care and improved well-being for your canine companion. In 19th century Iran, beauty standards differed significantly from today. Women considered a light mustache a mark of femininity and attractiveness. Thick, connected eyebrows were also highly desirable, leading many women who lacked these features naturally to use mascara to enhance their eyebrows. Additionally, body weight was seen as an indicator of health and social status. Being overweight was associated with wealth and prosperity, signifying a good life and abundance. Conversely, being thin was often linked to poverty and illness, reflecting hardship and lower social standing. These beauty ideals highlight how cultural perceptions of attractiveness evolve over time and are influenced by social and economic factors. Many people in France didn't speak French until the 1900s. The country was historically a patchwork of regional languages, many of which still exist today. Contrary to popular belief, French was not always the dominant language. Just 200 years ago, most people spoke local dialects like Breton, Alsatian, Occitan, Basque, Picard, and Provençal. French initially thrived mainly in Paris, among the elites and royal courts, while the rest of the country was culturally and linguistically diverse. It was only during the French Revolution and into the early 20th century, especially around World War I, that French was standardized as the national language, largely through widespread education reforms. Despite this linguistic unification, France remains culturally rich and diverse, with each region maintaining its own history, cuisine, and architectural styles. Some traditional regional languages are still spoken today, highlighting France's complex linguistic heritage. This diversity challenges the common idea of a homogeneous French identity and shows a nation shaped by many local cultures that lasted well into modern times. During the 2020 lockdowns, many believe they pioneered remote learning, but this concept actually has historical roots that date back much further. In the late 1930s and 1940s, during major polio outbreaks, schools faced closures to prevent the virus's spread. Instead of online classes, students had to rely on radio broadcasts to continue their education. Families would tune their radios to designated local stations at specific times to listen to teachers deliver lessons live over the airwaves. This method was so common that, in Chicago in 1937, it earned the nickname the Air School. Learning geography or other subjects through static-filled voices and imperfect audio was undoubtedly a challenge, but it kept education going during difficult times. This early form of distance learning highlights how educators and students have continually adapted to crises, leveraging available technology to maintain continuity. While modern remote learning often occurs via high-speed internet and interactive platforms, the fundamental idea remains the same: bringing education to students regardless of physical barriers. Reflecting on these past efforts reminds us that innovation in education has always been driven by necessity, proving that even radio waves can be powerful tools for learning. Did you know that the saucer wasn't always just for catching drips or fancy decoration? Back in the 1700s, it actually served as a drinking vessel. People would pour hot tea into the wide, shallow saucer because early teacups lacked handles, making them difficult to hold when hot. The saucer's large surface area helped the tea cool faster, making it easier to sip. Interestingly, sipping tea from a saucer was considered both normal and elegant in high society homes at the time. It was also a subtle way to display social status. The way you placed your cup or spoon on the saucer could indicate your manners and class. Over time, as European porcelain manufacturing improved, handles were added to cups, making it safer and more comfortable to drink directly from them. The saucer then transitioned into its modern role, protecting delicate tables from heat and spills. So next time you set your cup down, remember, its origins go way back, and it once played a much more prominent role in teacups and social customs. In the busy rush of daily life, gathering around the dinner table might seem like a simple tradition. But did you know that these warm family moments could be the key to boosting your child's school performance? A recent study has revealed a surprising fact. Children who eat dinner with their parents at least 4 times a week tend to perform much better in school. This finding highlights the power of simple family connections. Why is this? The dinner table isn't just a place to eat, it's an ideal setting to build bonds. During this time, children share their daily experiences, parents listen carefully, and ideas and feelings are exchanged. This interaction helps improve the child's vocabulary, provides a sense of security, and offers emotional support, all of which positively impact their confidence and ability to focus and learn. Historically, the act of throwing the bouquet has playful origins rooted in tradition. In earlier times, guests believed that physical contact with the bride could transfer fertility and good luck. During medieval Europe, it was common for guests to chase and physically seize the bride as a means of bestowing blessings. To counter this chaos, the bride started tossing her bouquet as a defensive distraction, diverting attention and allowing her to escape without being overwhelmed or torn apart by eager guests seeking her good fortune. Over time, this practice evolved into the more light-hearted ritual we recognize today, symbolizing the bride sharing her happiness and good luck with others. In 1947, Ruth Hensinger crafted a wedding gown from the nylon parachute that saved her husband, Major Claude Hensinger, during World War II. After his B-29 bomber bailout over China, Major Hensinger kept the parachute, using it as a pillow and blanket throughout the war. He later presented it to Ruth as an engagement gift. Inspired by a dress from Gone with the Wind, Ruth carefully handmade the gown, using the parachute strings to create a gathered, full skirt. This unique dress became a symbol of survival and love, embodying resilience and devotion. It was worn by their daughter and daughter-in-law before being donated to the Smithsonian. This story highlights how a wartime necessity was transformed into a cherished heirloom, blending history, craftsmanship, and personal sacrifice into a lasting legacy. In the Australian outback, the bogong moth demonstrates a remarkable navigational ability, using the Milky Way as a celestial compass during its long migrations. This tiny insect, just a few centimeters, travels over 1,000 kilometers at night, returning to the same mountain caves where it was born without losing its way. Its eyes detect faint galaxy light, transforming it into a natural star map. This discovery reveals an extraordinary connection between Earth's life forms and the universe, emphasizing the interconnectedness of all moments and places. The moth's ability to read the stars illustrates a profound philosophical truth, that every particle and event is linked across cosmic distances, and that time and space are merely threads in the fabric of existence. This insight not only advances our understanding of biology and astronomy, but also humbles us, reminding us of nature's intelligence. Tu Youyou made a significant medical breakthrough of the 20th century while researching traditional Chinese medicine. In the 1970s, she was part of a secret research program searching for new malaria treatments. Instead of relying only on modern chemistry, She studied historical medical texts, including a 1,600-year-old manuscript that mentioned using sweet wormwood to treat fever. The key insight came from a single line in the text that suggested extracting the herb without heat. Earlier experiments failed because boiling the plant destroyed its active compound. By switching to a cold extraction method, 2UU successfully isolated artemisinin, a compound that proved highly effective against malaria. To ensure its safety, she tested the extract on herself before wider use. Artemisinin-based treatments have since been used worldwide and are estimated to have saved tens of millions of lives, earning her the Nobel Prize in Medicine. The dollop of toothpaste you use each morning and night has a specific name. It's called a nerdle. While it may sound like something from a Dr. Seuss book, a nerdle is a real term used in the dental and marketing worlds to describe that wave-shaped dab of paste on your brush. The curved shape of a nerdle isn't just for appearance. It's designed to look appealing and encourage you to use more toothpaste. In fact, the term became so significant that it was involved in a legal dispute between competing toothpaste companies over who could use the nerdle image in their branding. Interestingly, although ads often depict a massive nerdle covering the entire brush, most dentists recommend using only a pea-sized amount. The exaggerated nerdle shown in commercials is mainly a marketing trick to make consumers think they need more paste to clean effectively. Next time you brush, remember, you're not just cleaning your teeth, you're sculpting a nerdle. Cats are often seen as independent and proud, but biologically, they may be the most perfect creatures on Earth. Unlike many species that had to evolve significantly or go extinct to adapt, cats have maintained a remarkably consistent and successful body design for millions of years. Their skeletal structure and muscles are optimized for stealth, agility, and precision, making them versatile predators from tiny house cats to large tigers. They possess superior senses, allowing them to see in near darkness and hear high-frequency sounds, solidifying their role as expert hunters. Interestingly, many mammal lineages have evolved towards a cat-like form, a phenomenon known as carcinization in crustaceans, because this shape proves so effective. The fundamental body plan of cats, retractable claws, specialized teeth, and extreme flexibility, has remained largely unchanged for ages, functioning as a refined survival system. In essence, cats are living fossils of an efficient design, perfected long before humans appeared. So, your feline friend isn't just a pet, it's a finely tuned survival machine, a biological masterpiece shaped by millions of years of evolution. A single light brake press can trigger a ripple effect through vehicles, creating a shockwave-like phenomenon. In a controlled experiment, 22 cars circled a 230-meter track at 30 kilometers per hour, without incidents or obstacles. Yet a traffic jam still formed. This occurs due to basic physics and driver reaction delays. As the lead car slows slightly, the following vehicle brakes more sharply to compensate. This reaction amplifies backward at approximately 20 kilometers per hour, causing traffic to halt even when the road ahead is clear. These unexpected slowdowns are called phantom jams, illustrating how small human actions can cascade into major traffic disruptions. They demonstrate that traffic flow depends more on timing, reactions, and system dynamics than solely on infrastructure or vehicle numbers. This phenomenon underscores the complex, delicate nature of traffic systems, and how minor delays and adjustments can have widespread effects, often invisible to drivers. Understanding phantom jams helps us appreciate the intricate dance of vehicle interactions that maintain flow or cause sudden stops on busy roads. In 1963, teenager Randy Gardner set a remarkable record by staying awake for 264 hours, the only officially documented case of extended sleep deprivation. His ordeal began as a science experiment and quickly took a toll on his abilities. By the 10th day, Gardner struggled with basic tasks such as simple accounting and began experiencing visual distortions. Street signs appeared as moving figures or people. His speech also slowed significantly, illustrating the profound effects of sleep deprivation on cognitive and motor functions. After nearly 11 days without sleep, Gardner finally succumbed to exhaustion and slept for 14 continuous hours, recovering from the physical and mental strain. This incident provided valuable insights into the importance of sleep for healthy brain and body functioning, and remains a notable example in sleep research. It highlighted how critical regular rest is for maintaining mental clarity, coordination, and overall health. Male pattern baldness is notably less prevalent among many Native American, First Nations, and Alaska Native populations compared to individuals of European descent. Research indicates that this disparity largely stems from genetic differences. Specifically, these populations tend to have a lower frequency of genetic variants associated with androgen-related hair loss. This means that their genetic makeup inherently offers some protection against the hair loss typically seen in male pattern baldness. The underlying genetic factors involve variations in genes that influence hormone levels and hair follicle sensitivity to androgens. Understanding these genetic distinctions not only sheds light on the biological diversity among different ethnic groups, but also enhances our knowledge of hair loss mechanisms. Such insights could pave the way for targeted treatments or preventative measures tailored to genetic profiles. Overall, these findings highlight how ethnicity and genetics can influence health conditions, including hair loss, emphasizing the importance of personalized approaches in medical research and therapy development. Ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster? Well, Scotland isn't the only place with a massive, mysterious lake creature. North America has its own legendary monster named Champ. Champ is said to inhabit Lake Champlain, which borders New York, Vermont, and Quebec. Similar to Scotland's famous monster, many locals and visitors have reported sightings of a long-necked, prehistoric-looking creature swimming in the lake's deep waters. These reports have made Champ a significant part of local folklore and culture. The legend dates back centuries, with Native American tribes reportedly describing encounters with a horned serpent in the lake. Over time, numerous sightings have intrigued scientists, leading some to speculate that Champ could be a surviving plesiosaur, an ancient marine reptile thought to have gone extinct millions of years ago. Remarkably, Champ is legally protected by law in both Vermont and New York, highlighting its cultural importance. Whether Champ is a biological anomaly or just a persistent legend, it reminds us that some places still hold deep, dark mysteries beneath their surface. Anatidaephobia is a humorous term describing the fear that a duck or goose is secretly watching you. This quirky concept was popularized by cartoonist Gary Larson in a 1988 episode of his comic strip The Far Side. Although the name combines Anatidae, the biological family name for ducks and geese, and the Greek word phobos, fear, it was intended purely for comedy. The term captures an absurd, specific paranoia about being observed by waterfowl, regardless of one's location. While not officially recognized in the DSM-5 as a medical diagnosis, anatidaephobia has become a staple in internet culture and trivia, illustrating Larson's unique blend of surreal and dark humor that resonated worldwide. In 1997, pilot Andy Green achieved a remarkable feat by driving the Thrust SSC, a jet-powered car, at a record-breaking 763 miles per hour, 1,227 kilometers per hour. This incredible speed allowed him to break the sound barrier on land for the first time in history. Imagine a massive twin-engine vehicle racing across the Nevada desert, its engines roaring like a jet, culminating in a thunderous sonic boom that echoed through the sands. This achievement was not only a testament to engineering ingenuity, but also a milestone in automotive and aeronautical history. The Thrust SSC's record has stood for over 25 years, making it one of the most enduring and impressive records in engineering. Imagine a calm, intelligent creature like an elephant, suddenly transforming into an unstoppable force. This isn't due to anger or mood. It's a biological phenomenon called must. During must, a male elephant's testosterone levels skyrocket, up to 60 times their normal amount, causing a dramatic hormonal surge. This spike results in a foul-smelling liquid leaking from glands on their head and triggers wild behavior. In this state, the elephant loses all fear and common sense. They have been known to flip cars, uproot trees, and charge at anything nearby without warning. Must is a powerful reminder that, despite their intelligence, elephants can be overtaken by biology. It highlights the raw power hidden beneath their calm demeanor and showcases the complex interplay between biology and behavior in nature.
Why did the USSR love green? Have you ever wondered why almost every old Soviet-era building appears to be the same dull shade of green? It wasn't a decision made by some avant-garde interior designer. It was a leftover from World War II. The USSR was essentially a massive war machine with millions of gallons of military-grade green paint intended for tanks and trucks. When the war ended and the 1950s housing boom began, the Soviet government didn't want to waste all that paint. So, they started painting everything from schools to hospital corridors in tank green. This paint was so incredibly durable and waterproof that even decades later, you can still see it on many buildings. In fact, if you peel back the layers of paint in some modern Russian apartments, you'll still find that same tough military green underneath. It's a literal piece of history hidden right on the walls. The Dunning-Kruger effect, a well-known psychological phenomenon, was inspired by a real-life, albeit unsuccessful bank robbery. In 1995, a man attempted to rob a bank without a mask, applying lemon juice to his face, believing it would render him invisible to security cameras since lemon juice is used as invisible ink. He even took a selfie beforehand to test his theory. However, he pointed the camera the wrong way, so his face didn't appear. Convinced of his invisibility, he was shocked when caught and shown the security footage, exclaiming, "But I wore the juice." This incident prompted psychology professor David Dunning to study the relationship between incompetence and self-awareness. He found that individuals who are too unskilled to perform a task are often too unaware of their failures, leading to overconfidence. This insight ultimately led to the formal naming of the Dunning-Kruger effect, illustrating how lack of skill can distort self-assessment and perception. A 4-paper has a fascinating mathematical property rooted in the ISO 216 standard. Its aspect ratio is square root of 2 to 1, approximately 1.414. A ratio that remains consistent throughout the entire A series, from A0 to A4. This unique proportion is what gives A4 its magic. When you fold or cut an A4 sheet in half, the resulting piece retains the same aspect ratio as the original, whether it becomes A5 or A3. Doubling an A4 sheet produces an A3, and doubling an A3 results in A2, continuing up to A0. This system's genius lies in its ability to scale size while maintaining shape, thanks to the square root of 2 ratio. Thermal images of penguins and polar bears reveal evolution's remarkable adaptation for surviving extreme cold. Most of their bodies appear dark, indicating minimal heat escape, while small areas like the eyes, beak, or nose show warmth. This efficiency is due to their bodies being specially adapted to trap heat. Penguins have dense feathers that create air pockets, acting as insulators similar to a winter jacket, complemented by a thick fat layer that further minimizes heat loss. Polar bears employ a comparable strategy, but tailored for land. Their fur is not only thick, but also hollow, trapping air to slow heat escape. Beneath, a substantial fat layer provides extra insulation, and their dark skin absorbs and retains heat. These combined features ensure their internal temperature remains stable despite freezing air and water. Thermal imaging exposes this invisible process, illustrating how evolution reduces heat loss, enabling these animals to thrive in Earth's harshest climates.
When we eat a piece of hot pepper, we feel a strong tingling in our tongue and mouth and automatically say that we taste hot. But science reveals an amazing fact. Hot is not a taste at all. It's a feeling of pain. Why is this not considered a bait? A person's sense of taste depends on the taste buds on the tongue, which can distinguish only 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, rich taste. Spicy food doesn't fall into any of these categories, and the chemicals don't interact with the taste buds. So, what is this feeling? Responsible for this sensation is a chemical compound called capsaicin, found abundantly in hot peppers. When capsaicin touches the tongue, it does not stimulate the taste buds but attacks the pain and heat receptors in the mouth. These receptors send false signals to the brain, tricking it into thinking the mouth is under extreme heat or burning. In response to this hazard, the body begins to have defensive reactions such as sweating, a runny nose, watering eyes, and of course, feeling pain and burning. In a nutshell, what we call a hot taste is actually a chemical response to pain, a clever trick peppers play on our brains, and ironically, many of us enjoy it. In 1962, a remarkable school incident involved 37 children who, despite never having met or communicated, drew the same imaginary figure. All the drawings depicted a tall, faceless man with hollow eyes and a cord-like object in his hand. The children named him Yellow Echo and believed he appeared only during rain. Psychologists theorized this could be a rare case of shared imagery, where children under similar stress or environments unknowingly create identical mental images. The story deepened when the drawings disappeared, and a teacher associated with the case went missing days later. This event remains one of the most mysterious, unsolved incidents in a classroom setting. Some experts suggest such cases reveal the powerful and enigmatic nature of the human imagination, particularly among young children. This odd coincidence continues to intrigue researchers and psychologists, illustrating how collective subconscious fears or ideas might manifest in similar visual expressions among groups of children, especially in unusual or stressful circumstances. The QWERTY keyboard layout wasn't designed for typing speed, but to prevent early typewriters from jamming. In the 1870s, mechanical arms inside typewriters would clash and jam if keys were typed too quickly, especially those close together. Inventor Christopher Sholes created the QWERTY arrangement to space out frequently used letters, slowing typists down enough to avoid such issues. This design was adopted by Remington for their first commercial typewriter in 1874. Once training began on QWERTY, it became the standard, and despite modern computers lacking mechanical arms, we still use the layout today. Its widespread adoption and deep cultural roots make changing it difficult, even if newer, faster layouts exist. Ever wondered what a 19th century emperor smelled like? While most of his contemporaries were struggling with the aromas of the pre-deodorant era, Napoleon Bonaparte was famously obsessed with staying fresh. This obsession is reflected in his choice of fragrance, 4711 Eau de Cologne, a citrusy herbal blend of rosemary, lavender, and lemon. Unlike most of his era, when personal scent was often neglected, Napoleon reportedly used around 50 bottles of 4711 each month. He didn't just spritz it on briefly, he applied it with a brush over his body, even pouring some over his head and shoulders. Remarkably, the recipe for 4711 today remains unchanged from Napoleon's time over 200 years ago, meaning you can still buy the same scent that once filled the tents of the French Grande Armée. This dedication to scent wasn't just about personal hygiene. It was part of his persona. Napoleon, known as the Little Corporal, wanted to conquer Europe and smell good doing it. Surveys by the German digital association Bitkom show that more than 80% of companies with at least 20 employees have used fax machines in recent years. However, this doesn't mean fax is their main communication tool. For many, it's used occasionally alongside email and digital platforms. The trend shows a gradual decline in fax usage in Germany, with earlier surveys indicating higher figures.
Recent data suggests that about 75% of businesses still use fax, but only around 1/3 do so frequently, primarily for specific or infrequent purposes. Despite the decline, fax remains relevant in Germany due to its perceived legal validity, particularly when dealing with government agencies, legal documents, or healthcare providers. Many organizations continue to rely on fax for its established workflows and the trust placed in paper-based confirmations. This adherence to traditional methods has slowed the transition to fully digital communication. This ancient Egyptian exercise was created by a student named Enisu, son of Seksek. Enisu writes a formal letter to his brother Penisu, addressing him with respect as a wealthy and authoritative figure. The exercise serves as practice for mastering formal correspondence, an essential skill for scribes in ancient Egypt. Through this letter, Enisu demonstrates his ability to craft respectful and proper communication, which was vital for official and personal interactions in that era. Such exercises helped young scribes develop the language, tone, and structure needed for their future roles. This artifact offers a glimpse into the educational methods of ancient Egypt and highlights the importance placed on written communication. Did you know that your voice serves as a physical map of your body? Scientists have created AI technology known as Speech Two-Face that can analyze a brief sample of your speech to do remarkable things. It can generate a facial image, estimate your height, and even approximate your age, all from just a few seconds of audio. This is possible because your vocal cords are embedded within a unique bone structure, your vocal skeleton, which influences your voice in a way that's impossible to completely conceal. Essentially, your voice contains clues to your physical identity, revealing aspects of your DNA profile. Every time you speak, you're not only sharing words, but also a biological fingerprint that's shaped by your body's distinctive features. This technology highlights how interconnected our physical makeup and the sounds we produce truly are, raising fascinating questions about privacy and identity in the age of AI. It's a powerful reminder that our voices are more than just means of communication. They're windows into who we are, encoded in ways we may not even realize. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or corrections, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments section. And as always, stay safe, stay curious, and see you in the next one.